sometimes I'm the last to know how I'm feeling. Everybody else around me has already figured it out, and it's like, yeah, that's what it is.
We are nearing the end of a century that has encompassed developments that boggle the mind. We live in a time that truly overwhelms most of us, a time when change and chaos, suffering and uncertainty seem to dominate the world scene. A time when the decision to build world harmony and community could not be more urgent or reachable. My name's Edward James Olmos. This is Bree Walker. As friends and as parents, we personally struggle with some very tough questions about our future.
Given today's realities, what legacy will we leave to our children and their children? What answers? What wisdom? What institutions will promote justice, dignity, mutual respect, economic security, peace, caring, and nurturing of the human spirit?
And who will accept and carry on the efforts to bring these visions to life? How do we convince our children that life is worth living? That living with love and dedication to ideals matters to anyone? We want to show you a program that makes youth the ultimate voyagers who carry forward our dreams and aspirations.
The World Interdependence Fund has, for a decade, committed itself to building a new future by transforming young people, teaching them to care, to cooperate, to lead.
The agenda that propels youth to fulfill their best destiny is interdependence, embracing full inclusion of everyone, including those with the most significant disabilities.
What is truly different about the World Interdependence Fund's vision is its absolute conviction that every young person is unique, has power, and a positive role to play in society. Beyond that, the World Interdependence Fund views disability, with its harsh stigma, as a label that could apply to any and all of us in 1,000 ways. Our very notion of disability flows from our unwillingness to truly value and accommodate the astonishing diversity of human beings.
Discover Interdependence is the first step in this transformation process. 100 high school teenagers, their teachers, and national mentors attend a week-long adventure-based training. Half of the kids have disabilities, some visible, some invisible, and the other half are, quote, regular kids. Once involved as peers, the youth with disabilities contribute a strength and humanity that catapults everyone to a new level of awareness. Not charity, not pity, but openness, resolve, and strength.
What you will see is real change in each person, a change so deep and so important that it warrants closely watching this film and thinking how this can be done in more places. This is the discovery of interdependence.
If you wouldn't mind sharing, and this is up to you too, I'd like to know what the condition was with your hip, with the physical situation.
Well, I have cerebral palsy, and you see, when I was born, a nerve severed in my neck.
When I'm very nervous, I start to stutter. And I know that at times that can be very embarrassing, see, just like it is right now.
I cannot click to get reading. I'm catching up to it now, but I could not take a regular high school.
I'm okay in a lot of sports, but I'm never good enough to make the high school team or something like that. There's always just those guys who specialize in the sports, and that's their sport, and you just can't compete with them.
I have muscular dystrophy. I mean, it's like it eats like my muscle, like, and it makes me weak.
A lot of my emotions are like bottled up inside because I don't really trust people to understand. So I just keep it to myself a lot.
But it's in the small groups that really kill me, 2 or 3 people, when you're trying to talk to them, because then there's no place you can blend into if you really make a fool out of yourself,
You're disabled, he's disabled, everybody's disabled, Just some you can see, some are not noticeable.
What's wrong? Where does this come from? Why do these teenagers learn to live in isolation, fear, self-doubt? Why do we teach them to see the imperfections in life and in themselves, instead of embracing the beauty and wonder in both? Pablo Casals, the great musician, said this:
Each second we live is a new and unique moment of the universe, a moment that never was before and will never be again. And what do we teach our children in school? We teach them that 2 and 2 make 4, and that Paris is the capital of France. When will we also teach them what they are? We should say to each of them, do you know what you are? You are a marvel. You are unique. In all the world, there is no other child exactly like you. In the millions of years that have passed, there has never been another child like you. And look at yourself. What a wonder you are. You have the capacity for anything. Yes, you are a marvel.
Why do we teach our children to see themselves as flawed, less than perfect, their qualities and contributions less than wanted, unappreciated? Discover Interdependence is a program where kids experience a new kind of teaching, a new kind of learning.
Hello? Hello. My name is Art.
It's an arrival at a place beyond the shortcomings and disabilities we've all learned, past the low expectations, the fear and self-doubt, the insecurities and stereotyping. For these kids, the first experience of real interdependence was at a camp in the mountains of California. But it can be anywhere, any place where kids are encouraged to find the unique wonders in each of us, where they can discover a new kind of self-worth and empowerment.
When we recognize that we're all different, and the difference is enriching, that our differences are what are attractive in what we learn from each other. And that difference itself is something that we can use to get to know each other and to help us chart the future. And it's a future where anyone that wants to and anyone that needs a little help can live in the community. It's an integrated future. When we talk about integration, it's not just for people who are black or Asian, it's for all of us. 2 things that I want to let you know. One, that you can do it together, no question about it. The second thing is that you personally have to believe in yourself to make it happen. And that takes a lot, whether you're disabled or not, to really love yourself and to really believe in yourself and to believe that you can do something for yourself and for others. And at the end of this week, you will. You'll believe it.
Yeah! My name is Kat, and I choose to do this event.
My name is Jim, and I choose to do this event. Is everybody ready?
Yeah!
I guess we gotta say it louder. Nobody's hearing us.
I, Josie Stewart, choose to do this event.
All right, Josie!
The act of making choices gives each of these kids a new kind of power, a sense of what they can do, of what they can accomplish together. When they choose to climb a rope ladder or help someone else cross a net, when they can make these choices, they begin to get a brief glimpse of what's possible for them through mutual support. They begin to see the breakthroughs that they can make about themselves, about each other, and about their futures.
Bill, you gonna do it? No.
If you drag me.
No, you can do it on your own, Will.
We'll support you. We'll assist you in every way we can.
Oh, well, we could roll you.
See, what we do
It's
is we
very
lift
easy.
this up and then gravity
We
pull
just
you down.
keep lifting and you slowly roll. Would you like to go for it?
You want to start with your name and choice?
Okay. I, Bill, choose to do this.
All right!
Yeah,
Bill!
Father's ready?
Ready! So you trust us. You gotta guide yourself, okay?
Now pull it tight.
All right, Bill. You guide yourself now.
Great.
Come on, Bear.
Yeah.
Put in any energy
Go,
you
Bill.
can. It's gonna take some effort.
Go, Bill.
It's gonna take effort on your part too. Come on, man. Anything you got, give it to us.
Right, pull it out and pull it out.
It's there. All right, Bill. No more, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Kids that weren't sure of themselves or others, they begin trusting, helping, guiding, communicating by touch. A variety of experiences draws them out of themselves and connects them with one another. Slowly at first, the discovery and trust begins to take hold.
The thing that I really liked about it was that you just had to completely trust the person that you were being guided by. Because if you took one step to the wrong way, you're over the cliff.
It's weird to, be able to walk around, blindfolded, not knowing where you're going. And then you look back and you go, I went through that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You gradually have to build your trust up to that to stay with them. And after that, it was okay until Dorothy shoved me into the side of the cliff.
No, it's because you start going, hug me, hold me, don't let me go. You were saying
Some people don't see disabled people as people. They think them as something that just happened, and they put them aside. What they're trying to do here is just make people realize that they are people too.
We and they, us and them. Simple words we all use, unaware of how they stigmatize and dehumanize others, how unconsciously they cause us to look at someone as less than ourselves. Instead of bringing us closer to a relationship, these words divide and isolate us.
I don't use a cane very much. I mean, if I'm around school or something, I don't use a cane. I don't go around town or anything.
He walks through the halls faster than I do.
But before Project Interdependence, I thought people that were so-called normal were mean and rotten and didn't want to have anything to do with people in wheelchairs, but obviously it's not true.
Biggest thing that keeps people like myself and folks that are mixed in with you and yourself back are those old attitudes. That attitude that sees someone as less able because they've got a disability. It sets the person up to be seen as having no future, being seen as a vegetable, being seen as something less than human or whole. And that's the thing that you're here with us to do, is to learn about handicapism, to learn about all the isms, and to understand that we're all people, and we're people first. We have the same needs and the same desires.
We've only been together 2 days so far.
know.
And we know each, we're close.
We need to ask them if they're ready first, okay? Hey, you got... All right. Climb on.
Okay.
That's it. Let's go. Good. Way to grab that bar.
One step at a time. You can do it.
That's it. Big stretch, big stretch.
All right.
Good one.
I can't even explain.
Okay, that's your horn, Betty.
Get it, Betty!
Use the mouth. Do anything you want. Squeeze it. Both hands. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep doing it. Good time. Come on, Betty. One more step.
Pull!
Right there. Right there. That's it. Keep that smile going.
Teenagers stretching, reaching, pushing themselves, challenging one another to climb just a little higher, strain just a little longer. It's exhausting, exhilarating, and for some, a totally new experience.
My name is Jeff, and I choose to do this. Brother,
Ready!
But interdependence is more than just shared adventure. It's a way of teaching these kids that if they can challenge their bodies and muscles, they can challenge their hearts and minds. They can take the same determination and begin to learn new skills: planning, organizing, networking, and resource development for civic and community action to help one another change society for the better.
Why does a Bill at Cleveland have just one big Olympics? Would that be the same as...
That would be under Unity.
That would be
That would all
also
be
spirit.
Right.
Okay.
That'd be a blast to get those Cleveland kids into our Olympics.
I would love it.
That'd be such a blast.
It's about looking at a new future.
You can do anything you want to if you have the ability and the interest, because we have learned to engineer and change any job to modify it to your needs. So when you're considering a job, you think about your temperament. Do you like to tell other people what to do and affect change? Circle it. You figure if you're going to choose a career, you don't want to choose something you halfway like.
And what you need to know is something about business and money handling.
It's about meaningful career choices.
You want to promote justice, and you want to promote joy among people. You want to help people do something, and you make your living in helping other people.
They don't have all these jobs like in sports, so, you know, just athletes. They don't show us any other types of jobs, so I don't really know, you know.
None of us really know. I mean, it's hard to find, you know, like my sisters tell me, there's so many different jobs in the psychology world, but I don't know any.
If you don't help each other and say, that's not big enough for you, that's not important enough for you, that's not good enough for you, that doesn't make you whole, that job, and you're going to lock yourself into the job, it's like locking yourself in a little prison for the whole life, and you say, well, this is my little prison. And you look out from the bars and talk about cliques.
Yeah, but I like helping little kids, and I think a child psychologist would be good for me. That's what I want to think. I want to be a child psychologist. But I have to find more about it, and just reading books at the library is not helping.
Doesn't do it. No, you got to find out from the people that are doing it.
It's using new technology to unlock doors.
You got portability, and you've got speed, and you've got a printed output. And what you lose is you lose the sound of the voice. And it's an interesting crossover of something that's a general use item that is very, very handy for someone with a disability, with a communication problem. For turning a page or eating, the idea of being able to do it yourself is worth the odd appearance, rather than having someone feed you or having someone turn pages every time you want to turn a page. So both of these are designed so that someone can do it by themselves, which is very, very important. Independence of function is really a critical need.
Okay, how do I turn?
Mind of its own.
Forward. That's it.
You want to turn it? Turn you sideways.
Okay.
And sometimes when you press forward and you start to turn sideways, all you're doing is you're straightening out your wheels.
It's about building self-confidence.
Hey! All right, that was great.
It's about advocating for one another.
Hi, everybody. We're from Gunderson High School, and there's a certain party in our group that I think everybody knows him. He's Eric Roth, and he has a little case called Tourette syndrome, and I don't think a lot of people know what that means. And that's him. And we're not trying to single him out from anybody else. He's just like any one of us. And, you know, I don't think it's very fair if somebody says, hey, shh, or something like that. He can't help it. You know, like everybody gets a little quirk. You gotta chew bubble gum. You gotta go outside and yell. You gotta go outside and hit something. Then you gotta take it out on something. When you get nervous or something, you get scared. And that's what he does. And I hope everybody understands that when he blurts out a word or says something.
It's about working together to solve tough problems.
And in fact, this decision would affect your survival. Okay, that's what this week has been about, doing ropes course and making it. We want to also make your meetings and your team survive when they get back.
This is winter survival decision form. Rank the following items according to their importance to your survival, starting with number 1.
When we crash, we would probably have to land and, you know, have the conference like you guys said, and make a fire to keep warm with clothing and stuff.
Some of the people can't carry their own weight. The people that might have been able to make it.
Well, wouldn't be able to make it because they'd be too busy carrying the other people. I understand your point now.
Providing access for everyone and removing physical and emotional barriers.
Yesterday, we did an access survey of a portion of the park. We went out together and we walked around and we looked for things that were accessible and we looked for things that were not accessible. The problem was not that there were steps or that there wasn't a ramp here. It was the side slope. It's hard to get back up on a slope like this. So what we're doing is we're just taking the side slope out, and when we get done, we'll level it out the width of a wheelchair.
It's about going back, committed, involved, ready to share.
Explain about an experience day that you can plan at your school once you return.
At first you have to get people signed up and go around and get their names of people interested in maybe spending a day in a wheelchair or spending a day blind or just different disabilities.
You have to be just ready and on the go. You have to be inspiring because there's no way that this can work if you don't have it in you. You cannot give it if you don't have it.
It's about role models in every area, including the arts.
Everyone in the group is hearing impaired to varying degrees. How do you hear the music? Well, the speakers on stage, the monitors, the vibration, and a lot of practice and rehearsal every day.
Interdependence. It's showing these teenagers that they can become leaders of the future. It's about giving them a sense of fulfillment, the knowledge that they can give something important to each other and to all of us.
You know, what's interesting to me is that we're doing this together. I've experienced previous camps that were just disabled oriented, shall we say. And it's like you put the little handicapper on the horse, and then another person leads him around the circle, and then you take him off and put him in a boat or take him to arts and crafts. But like here, it's a so-called normal-oriented environment, and it's like you do everything together as a group or not at all.
Interdependence is not about pony rides. It's about self-worth, the contributions youth can make as individuals, and the power they can create as a group. It's teenagers discovering that they can depend on one another, that together they can attain goals they never dreamed possible.
I was kind of apprehensive because I really didn't know what to expect, and I'm basically a quiet, shy person, so I don't like this camp. I didn't know how I would fit in. But now since I'm here, I really feel like I'm a part of the whole thing because there's a lot of support going around here, and I've never been in a situation like that. So I really enjoy that.
I learned a lot.
You learned a lot about yourself?
Yes, about myself and about working with other people.
Get up there, Dina! Get your feet in there, Dina! Dina, put your feet on the ladder!
I'm so scared.
It's okay to be scared, that's all right.
Well, I didn't think I could do it. It really was an experience in learning how to trust others.
It made me so I'm not so shy in front of people. Like, I used to be a guy where I used to stand in a corner somewhere and just watch everybody else, but now I'm sort of with everybody else, and I'm not afraid to go up to a person and say, "Hi, how you doing?" You know.
We've all seen the physical disabilities of people, but we haven't seen the learning disabilities. A learning disability, I can't even speak. A learning disability is where you have trouble learning, just like that. You reverse your numbers,
There's some who have dyslexia and all other things. And we just want to let you guys know that a lot of us have the learning disabilities where when you see somebody spell something wrong or you criticize your friend for not being able to do such things, that we have a learning disability also, and it's hard, but we're going to fight with it. Are you going to
tell them? I never got up and told anybody that I had a learning disability. That was my biggest, deepest secret.
Dyslexia.
Well, I used to think that before I came here, like if you're out of a wheelchair, you're normal. But now I don't think that, because now I think everybody here that's in a wheelchair or not is normal, you know.
Each night after the day's activities, these teens would get together. Spontaneously, they'd come up to the mic, sharing their realizations, their feelings, their accomplishments. And in each of these nights, new breakthroughs in personal growth are made.
Then one night, one soft voice, Anita's voice, brings out what each of these youngsters is feeling, sharing, and in reaching out, touches each person who was there.
I feel good tonight. I don't know why, but I do. My name is Anita.
Listen,
and
please.
I choose to do this. A couple days ago, I was shy.
That's it, you got it. That away, you defeat everything.
It really surprised me that 100 people could work together and support one another with no arguing, no fighting, no pushing, just giving support, being there when you need it, learning to get along with each other, not being afraid to support one another. It really surprised me.
At first, there were the usual kind of like, what is she talking about, or whatever, looks on their face, like they didn't know what was happening. And then when she really started talking and getting into what she was saying, they started leaning forward, and then leaning forward more, and then like they were just going, oh wow, that's exactly how I feel. And it was so neat, because they were just all so ready to hear it and so happy to hear it. Just hear someone vocalize what they felt.
It felt like we're close, I don't know to say. I really thank you all for accepting me and letting me be a part of this.
And now the group crosses a new threshold. Awareness of the power of one. One people. One humanity. A vision by which to shape their world.
We climbed a mountain. It was a hill, but everyone looked at it like a mountain. And Mary, she's in it, and she's limited to a wheelchair. And everyone thought, gosh, we're going to have to really work together if we're going to help Mary get up this hill. But Mary helped the team get up the hill, up the mountain, instead of, how we all helped her. So, see, we worked together instead of four. And that's that was so exciting. Once we got through that, everyone says, gosh, I can't believe that I got through it, and I really didn't think that you could get through it.
It's the interdependence.
A lot of people were saying, yeah, the interdependence. A lot of people were saying, I can't believe you made it through this. I didn't think you could. And so people were just changing their ideas.
Also, being here, I have found disabilities that I see I didn't know that I had. But well, now I'm not, I see, afraid to admit them either. And so it's like kids, all right.
No, I'm not. I'm great.
You're not okay, you're great.
And as people change their own attitudes, and as we move from a society that likes to put people down and see people as less because they're black or Hispanic or because they're disabled or because they're born a woman, as we move through all these issues, and I hope you discover that we all begin the same way, obviously. And the way we're treated, the way people around us treat us, the way they see us, is incredibly important to what happens to us.
This is the best week I've ever had in my whole life, man. I feel like I'm part of the group now instead of just, I don't feel handicapped anymore. You know, around these people, I feel like one of them and not any different than anybody else.
I got here thinking, why would anybody want to work with rehab? Why would you do something like that? But now I see that these people give something that is very special in their lives to everyone. And something that we as lawyers, engineers, medical doctors, journalists, dentists, whatever you want to be in life, look for something that you can give to humanity, for the people around you. And just go for it. Thank you.
I want to be a community service person, and I think this is good training for me. I love the way people around here can communicate and have the most intimate conversations with each other without fear of intrusion by a stranger. And we just met, Sunday, and it's like we've known each other forever.
I think I'm going to act different in front of my family now that, because I sing and I usually sing in my room, but now that I sing in front of people now, and I'm going to probably be in a talent show.
Interdependence is about inspiring kids to grow past the fear of failure and beyond standing alone. It's about empowering them with a sense of self and community, creating a new generation of leaders ready to commit themselves to make interdependence a cultural reality.
I wasn't diagnosed until I was about 15 or so.
I know a lot of times we tend to ask a whole lot of questions about what you can't do. What can you do?
Anything.
Right.
But I do love you all. And if I ever stop crying, which I don't feel embarrassed to do, just when you go back to your schools, show what teenagers can do.
It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live.
If we can change some attitudes, and we have high expectation, and we believe in all of us, we support each other, people are going to achieve things that we never thought possible.
You were always on my mind.
And so it's almost over. A week that was physical, emotional, joyous, and painful, full of insight and learning, filled with compassion and caring. Now on this last night, these teenagers come together, sharing their common experiences, holding on to one last precious moment.
Because I got too close to everybody.
at the camp, you work so close together with everybody that it's hard to say goodbye.
Has been too lonely, and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just
Oh, God, I can't believe that we could be like this. I didn't even lose control when I left home to come here.
that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the road.
Now all I have to do is go back and take some action, you know, and that's hard because here we're a family, we're not, and we gotta make it work.
If we can change some attitudes, if together we can reshape the people around us and how they feel about disability, that will make significant change.
I'm going to go back to school next year, and people are going to look at me strangely because I came here with all these strange people. And it's not that way at all. We're all just the same, just some of us do more things than others. And I won't even care now if people look at me strangely.
People need to open up and be compassionate and loving and caring and not so hard-nosed and ready to fight. We learned a lot here, and it will go on forever. Project Interdependence won't die. I'll make sure of that.
That was the end of that magical adventure in the mountains, but only the beginning of what these kids shared. Strengthened by their Discover Interdependence training, they internalized the message and took their newfound confidence and skills home with them when the buses pulled away.
The training proved beyond doubt the importance of empowering these young people through a leadership program that taps into their innate enthusiasm for cooperative action on the most important kinds of problems. You saw their instinctive desire to love, trust, and depend on each other in getting the job done. They will never be the same, nor will we. What they learned and felt makes each of them offer and demand more from relationships, their schools, and their communities.
Every kid feels, in some way, less than whole and significantly disabled when facing a world that tells them in so many ways that it doesn't value them or their ideas and dreams. Whether a teen possesses a physical or mental disability or is simply an object of society's indifference is beside the point. Interdependence stresses that all kids, whatever their race, sex, backgrounds, or conditions, are not only worthy of full inclusion, they are invaluable.
That said, this is still a rough old world. Even with the most powerful inspiration and the most unshakable faith, young people dedicated to advancing social and economic justice, searching for what careers their hearts call them towards, need tools that work and a support system that can effectively backstop their efforts. Full inclusion and integration is already public policy and the law. The World Interdependence Fund exists to provide those tools and to implement and sustain that larger vision.
If we can't equip our children to build a better world than we've managed to do, we will have failed ourselves and squandered their hopes in one generation. You've seen what it takes and how young people respond to a truly respectful challenge.
Every young person deserves a chance to discover interdependence. America's youth won't wait.
We're going to come back after Thanksgiving, and all of us are going to have one disability or another, and we're going to learn about we're going to study our disabilities, so when people ask us, you know, what's your disability, why are you in the chair, what are you doing this for, you're not really paralyzed, and we're going to tell them why we're doing it and give them information on Interdependence. And we're going to do this for 24 hours a day. It's not going to be just at school. It's going to be everywhere we go for all week.
I'm sure we're not going to be able to do it the whole time. I'm sure we're going to get out, but we're going to try our hardest because we are trying, you know, we've got to prove this to the other kids who don't, you know, who don't realize what we've realized.
Yeah, we got to prove that we can.
We got to prove it.
Is this for government? Yeah, 24 hours a day. And it's so hard. It doesn't matter whether or not someone's in a wheelchair or whether they're just walking around on their feet, that they're still the same person. We aren't required to do this. We're doing it because we want to do it. It isn't a class. No, it's hard, Dave. How are you going to do this job, though?
The Doodah Parade in the middle of the American dream. Yeah, beauty pageants, Uncle Sam. We could show people what we're dragging. The labels we're stuck with, kids in wheelchairs, walking. We could all drag baggage and get the people to see what it's like.
You want to drag a bag? You want to drag a bag? You don't have to work. I give you permission to come on.
I think that they really understood that we're out there, we're normal people too. And, you know, everybody is a person. And we all got hearts.
For that street being there, it's only that much far away, but for that much far, it's like 100 miles instead of these two schools being on one campus, because I've found out that all the disabled schools in this valley are all on separate campuses. Otherwise, everywhere else, they're all on one campus. So kids from Cleveland, unless they take classes over here, they're very hesitant to come over here, because they see the kids that have very bad CPA that can't function, stay still type thing, and that type of thing. They see that, and they see the kids that are autistic, and they see all that stuff, and they're like, I'm not going over there. The school's crazy type thing.
They're afraid. But now I go over there more than I used to. And I try to be friends with a couple of Cleveland kids. And some accept me, some don't. Something I gotta live with, you know. Not everyone can accept me. But if they would be nice.